Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. So let's get the lowdown once again from this NBC Wall Street Journal poll conducted by Hart McInturf, showing this is a New Deal nation. Maybe you listened to Limbaugh, Hannity. This was a center-right country. We're all reactionaries now. We all support the Koch brothers, the Cato Institute, the American Heritage Foundation, the American Enterprise Institute, and all the rest of these bums. Well, no. Here's the proof. This poll shows it. How about this one? You want to drive Limbaugh, Hannity, O'Reilly, Glenn Beck up the wall. How about a surtax on millionaires? Now, this is not exactly what I would recommend. Something in this area can be done. The main thing you want to do is the Wall Street sales tax, if only because the money involved is astronomically more. The Wall Street sales tax, if it's 1 quadrillion of turnover, which is very low, it's probably closer to 2 quadrillion or 3 quadrillion. But suppose it's 1 quadrillion, that's 1,000 trillion. So you get 1% of that. That's 10 trillion. So that's 5 trillion for the feds and 5 trillion for the states. The budget crisis is gone. Now, of course, once you have this tax, the amount of speculation will tend to decline. But you get the general ballpark of where we are. The millionaire surtax, right? Suppose we go back to the 150 billion of Wall Street bonuses. That's a big pie, and that should be taxed too. But it's just out of all proportion. The Wall Street sales tax is what's really going to solve it. But since, unfortunately, this poll does not ask about Wall Street or Wall Street sales tax, I don't think you find the words Wall Street anywhere in the poll. But the closest thing to it, do you support a millionaire's surtax? In other words, if there is a problem with deficits, which most people accept, government deficits at various levels, would you support a millionaire's surtax to solve that? Now, this is 81%, 81% say yes, let's have a millionaire's surtax. Now, that happens to be just about the biggest majority for anything in the entire poll. 81% say tax the millionaires more. 17%, there's your usual lunatic fringe, Tea Party, right-wing Republican, whatever, Austrian, Friedmanite, Chicago boys, libertarians. 17% say no, millionaire income can't be taxed any more than it is. So 81% of the American people say, soak the fat boys, get the millionaire surtax out there. Now, that's populism. Populism is not campaigning to say, I'm going to strip you of your Medicare, Medicaid, and trying to cover that up with some cultural populism. Populism is saying, I'll show you how to solve this. Who should pay for the Depression? Wall Street should pay for the Depression. They created the Depression. They should pay. And the average person should not pay, because the average person, the average cop or sanitation man or teacher did not create the Depression. I'm sorry. They didn't issue $1 quadrillion or 1.5 quadrillion of credit default swaps, collateralized debt obligations, and the rest of the toxic derivative catalog. So Bush tax cuts, a related question in terms of economic justice, class warfare, and so forth. Are you in favor of phasing out the Bush tax cuts? 68% say yes. Now, that's a repudiation of Obama and the reactionary Republicans. The American people don't like the Wall Street puppet Obama. They don't like the reactionary Republicans. Right now, they're more afraid of the Republicans, and I think there's some logic to this. 3 years ago, I would have been the first to tell you Obama is your main threat, not the declining Bush-Cheney neocon forces. But now the wheels of history have turned, and now it's the reactionary Republicans that are on the offensive. About 60% plus are afraid of Republican cut-and-gut austerity measures. I would suggest we always call them genocidal austerity measures, because if you cut Medicaid, you cut Medicare, you cut Head Start, you're going to kill Americans. That's what it comes down to, killing. That's Nuremberg stuff. That is genocidal austerity. So they always talk about, these Republicans always say, the job killing this, the job killing that. Well, job killing not good. American killing, even worse. It's genocidal, and it applies to the Nuremberg precedents. If you deprive a civilian population of adequate food, clothing, shelter, medical care, and related services, for whatever reason, that's a high crime against humanity. You're a Class A war criminal. You're on your way to Nuremberg. So think about that, dear Republicans, you office holders. In terms of some other things that are going on, should collective bargaining be a right of the public employees? 77% say yes. Now, that's right in the face of Walker, Kasich, and the rest of these bums. 77% of Americans say that public workers, state workers, other local government workers should have the right for collective bargaining, as others should too. If you ask it the other way, should their collective bargaining be cut? 62% say that that is unacceptable. How about Obama? How's he looking? Not so great. 45% support Obama. 40% against are in favor of a generic Republican. 45%. That's very tepid. He's below 50%. He was the Messiah 3 years ago, 2 years ago, but now he's 45%. That doesn't look so good. Are there any challengers? Won't you please come forward? Senator Feingold, others? How about this? Right track, wrong track. Is the country going in the right direction? 31% say right direction. 60% say wrong direction. That's good sense, because otherwise I don't know what world you're in. What else do we have here? There are a couple of other interesting ones. Here's another good one for the current situation in Congress. What is the most important issue facing government today? Number one issue, job creation and economic growth. That's another way of saying, in my language, economic recovery from a world depression. Job creation and economic growth. 56% say that. How about deficits and spending, the classic Republican Tea Party issue? 40%, much less, 56% to 40%. There's a landslide in an election. 28% say health care. So Obama's repudiated on the health care. The Republicans are repudiated on deficits and spending. Job creation and economic growth. It means that if we had a political force that was saying, we are for credit, national credit creation, national job creation, we're for WPA, PWA, CWA, we're for the New Deal job creation plans, you'd have 56% right there. Another philosophical question, we might say, government should do more, 51%. Government does too much already, 46%. You get the idea there, too. Are you a Republican, 24%, a Democrat, 39%, independent, 19%. So this is a very interesting map of the United States. And again, the reactionaries, despite decades and decades of endless parroting by Limbaugh, Hannity, O'Reilly, Glenn Beck, all these reactionary parrots, the Koch brothers, the Cato Institute, all these think tanks, and the betrayals by Obama, right? He was presented as the new Kennedy, the new Roosevelt, and then he betrayed everybody. Even Matt Damon is now jumping off the Obama bandwagon. In spite of all that, it's a New Deal country. It is not a center-right country. It is the country it was in the New Deal. It's a 2/3 to 3/4 majority. Political implications. It's going to be almost impossible for any Republican to get elected. And I mean anybody calling himself a Republican. I don't care. Libertarian, social conservative, warmonger type, fiscal conservative, you name it. If the Republicans say what they actually intend to do, they're gone. They're lost. Now, there are some problems in this poll. Let me just point to one of the most obvious. Do you think it would be acceptable to replace Medicare with a voucher? Now, vouchers, this is the plan of the Predator Ryan, congressman from Wisconsin, who runs the Republican budget effort. 50% say yes, a voucher would be okay. 44% say no. Now, there you can see where people could get duped and manipulated and fooled and tricked. Once again, we'll do what we can on that front, but that's the plan. It's a New Deal nation. Back in a minute.